You're watching the Health Now Nutrition Podcast, advancing our holistic and nutrition industry one story at a time. Presenting your host, Michelle Post.
Welcome everyone to the Health Now Nutrition channel. We are here with the amazing Robert Martin from Saved by Nutrition, sharing his fantastic story. I relate highly to it. So I'm just going to let you know who the fantastic Robert is. He is the owner of GastroPro. He specializes in helping people with gastrointestinal diseases such as Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, celiac, IBS, diarrhea, constipation, and all things bowel related. I added that. So if you want to know more about Robert, you can definitely get a hold of him for your consultation at Robert, ROBERT, at gastropro.ca. Welcome to our show, Robert.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to have you. Absolutely, because your story, of course, I relate to quite a bit. With my own trials and tribulations there. So I'm super glad that you're sharing that with us. Tell us a little bit about your story writing journey and getting it down on paper to share.
Well, my story writing journey really started when I actually when I decided to put up my website. So, and at the time I knew that I needed to put my story out there because it's so relatable, and also the fact that I wanted to that the people that I want to work with are people that have gastrointestinal issues, which is directly, I relate so much. In fact, that's what I kind of say when I meet people in my clinic, is I tell them I don't only hear them, as I actually feel people, because I feel the emotions, I feel the pain because I've been from there. So, so when I decided to put my website up a few years ago, I basically hired a ghostwriter from Toronto, of all places. So, and so she basically helped me to put my story down on paper, and it was really, I don't know if I want to say eye-opening, but a lot of fun to actually put it down, because it's something that we all have a story to share. And so many people probably don't realize, some of the trials and tribulation that you have gone through yourself to actually get where you are today. So it was really a fun exercise to actually put it down, and eye-opening to many of some that have already read it when it was about my website. But then when you basically, invited people to participate into this Saved by Nutrition book, I was all in. My story was already there. It just needed a bit of polishing, which we did together, which was awesome to work with you to do. And so here it is.
Awesome. Because it really is an extraordinarily relatable story. People who have suffered or dealt with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or any of the above, even IBS's, which is still like unnamed because we can't tell what it is out there. There's so many of the same symptomology that go hand in hand, and it's a devastating life.
Absolutely
a devastating life. So tell us a little bit about what happened to you at the beginning when you found out that you got diagnosed with
ulcerative colitis. Yeah, so I was diagnosed when I was 21 years old, so that's 29 years ago. And of course, at the time, didn't know what was happening. All I knew is that I had a lot of cramps, a lot of gases, lots of discomforts. So went through the series of appointments to eventually get to a gastroenterologist who went for a colonoscopy and eventually gave me the diagnosis of ulcerative colitis. And so at the time, I still remember, like at 21 years old, you're not in the beat of disease and the impact on your life. You're more in the spirits of, just let's party. This is life. And so I wasn't prepared for that at all. So I was essentially asking the doctor, what was the cause of this, and if there was anything that I could do to maybe try to improve my health condition or reverse it or whatever. So of course I had already done a bit of research on my condition, and so I was basically throwing some suggestions out there to him to say, well, could stress be a factor? Could genetics be a factor? Could food be a factor?
Right.
And so 29 years ago, he basically said, no, food and all those things, they don't really, they're not the cause. And even if you change them, they're not going to help you. So take your medication and go home and be happy. But I soon realized that life on medication and wasn't anything but happiness, or I never really gained back my energy or anything like that. I mean, it was sort of keeping the symptoms at bay, but I was never my own self. So so that's through all kinds of stories and pain and different life's experience, I got to a point at around 40 years old, and I guess that's the pivoting point that I thought, man, I can't keep on living my life like this. I need to find something that will be more long lasting.
Yeah.
And so as much as I've always kind of looked at nutrition, but I always thought that, well, that I'm not going to get this much result from nutrition. So I was always sort of seeking the silver bullet, the one thing that I could do that would heal it all, fix it all, right?
That sounds like what a lot of people are looking for these days. They want that magic bullet. They want something that's actually going to just cure them. And we know that there's not a one size fits all. So it doesn't work that way. So just for everyone, so we are talking to the amazing Robert Martin. And if you want to learn more about Robert and find out how he can help you, you can email him at Robert, ROBERT, at gastropro.ca. All right. Give us a few examples of some of the hardships that you had suffered with before you started looking at the holistic nutrition.
Well, to begin with, my family plans is I wanted to have at least 5 kids, right? So I come from a family of 5, so I thought I'd like to raise a big family and all that. But then my health condition wasn't allowing me to, I wasn't seeing myself being able to raise 5 kids. Although it's been sort of hard discussions with my wife that she wanted to have more kids, but in the end, I couldn't see myself, putting kids to life, but not being able to be there to raise them and be part of their life. So we ended up just having 2 kids.
And did you find that difficult to have 2 kids for yourself because of your own energy levels, or?
Yes, even 2 kids at times was tough for sure, but it's better now. I managed to turn things around with nutrition. So yes, for sure, it's much better now. But at a younger age, when I was still on medication, I certainly didn't have the energy, and so to even think about maybe dreaming that far of having kids and stuff like that. So and because plus at the time, I mean, I was at a point in time when I didn't know if I'd be able to keep on working, if I'd be able to keep on doing the sport activities that I'd like to do. I mean, everything was pretty much put in jeopardy. Even inviting people at home on weekends, my wife would be, oh, let's invite people. Whew, I don't know if I can. And that's hard to explain to someone, right? I mean, it's why not? You don't want, so you're antisocial? No, I'm not antisocial. I'm just no energy right now. And I don't know, if I'll be able to really entertain these people if we bring them over. So anyways, so yeah. A lot of things were put in on the back burner, I guess, if I can put it that way.
Right. I personally feel for myself, I understand that because the energy was so low, I couldn't live the full life that a young adult should actually be going out and experiencing. And I do feel like I missed my young adulthood, almost completely, because the majority of it was actually lying on the couch watching TV because I didn't have the energy to get up and do much more, with my own history too.
Yeah. So with a heat pad on your belly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Making sure that bathroom is really close by.
Yeah.
Turning down. So I wasn't married, but I definitely turned down my fair share of dates because they wanted to go out hiking.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't do that.
No, you can't, exactly. No, you can't think about that for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And this kind of thing happened to me where, I went out on a trip in BC, and I was in a park where suddenly ulcerative colitis was knocking at the door, and there was no bathroom in sight, and
right.
so no, it's pretty
So for people who don't know, share with us some of the symptomology about ulcerative colitis. What actually happens to your body?
Well, I guess the best way that I explain it to people is that if people can relate to sort of a stomach ulcer, so people typically can either relate to a stomach ulcer or even an ulcer that you have in your mouth when you potentially eat too many tomatoes when this time of the year.
They do
So,
that sometimes.
so it's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, it's an ulcer, so it's really it's tissues that are really it's like a rug burn, I guess, if I can put it, but like, you know, if I can put it that way, but it's really in your gut. And so what happens is that, I mean, there's inflammation there all the time. And as I tell people, I mean, it's pretty hard to try to control inflammation and control the ecology in a colon, like it's, you know, it's a septic tank, like it's you know, so it's pretty hard to control the symptoms there. So so essentially your colon is always inflamed, and that inflammation also sort of radiates to other portion of your body. So if you know, whenever my colon flares up, I'll feel it right away in my joints, in my hands, all over my body, my back. And of course, if you have pain in your gut, well, automatically that will radiate also to your back. So there's all kinds of, you know, and it's gut pain. So it's, you know, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's, you know, it's being in pain all the time, you know, from an abdominal perspective. It's always like flared up, very tense.
I interviewed a few people and talked to doctors and such about it, and the pain that I feel as a woman is actually very akin to contractions. So whenever they feel like a man doesn't understand my pain, it's like, well, Robert would.
Yeah, there you
Right?
go. So I can say that, but if you're saying it, sure, I'll say yes, it is like a contraction, I guess.
Right. It's like it does, like you said, it radiates all the way out to the back. It causes like a lot of clenching. Yeah, absolutely. So it is magnificently painful while you're going through, especially the acute times when things aren't working out. And of course, defecation is one of the biggest deals. You know, absolutely, and uncontrollable too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely uncontrollable for sure. When you have one of those contraction, it has to come out. Like there's no ifs or buts. And you better be close to a washroom then.
Right, absolutely. So great descriptive about what the life is like when it comes to, you know, going through this kind of ailment. So, and I'm so glad that you've actually turned the peak. So tell us the time when things did shift for you.
Well, the time shift so prior to finally, how can I say this? Prior to finally coming to realization that I just couldn't do this on my own. Because prior to that, I thought, you know what, I'm a smart guy. The information is all on the internet. It's just a matter of researching it long enough and to put it all together, and then I'll find a solution myself. And so at some point, I just realized that, you know what, I just can't do it on my own. I need help. I really need help with this. And I've tried to reach out to a number of people, and then eventually I found this person on the internet who I've never met, because this person is in UK. So we always, we basically, he's a nutritionist. He works in nutrition, and basically he coached me through the whole thing. So we had a meeting every week where he would give me a small little thing to do, a small little change, and then the next week he'd basically ask me, so how did that go? And then he'd give me my next homework. And after the first 8 to 12 weeks, I started to see things shift. So I had less pain, of course, in my gut and all that. But the one thing that I remember is at some point I had a good day. And before that, I could never say that I had a good day. Like every day was a bad day. There were worse days, and there were worse bad days and better bad days, but never good days. So, and eventually after working with this guy for about 8 to 12 weeks, I had one good day. And I thought, oh my God, if I can have one good day, it's got to be possible to have two good day a week.
Oh.
So I just persisted, and it, you know, I'd say that about at around between 3 to 6 months mark, then things really shifted around. But I kept on working with this guy for a year. We weren't meeting then every week, but I really wanted to have his support for a full year. And in fact, as I was working with him, that's when the light bulb sort of went on, because I was doing another, I had another career at the time. And I was sort of doing some soul searching as well at the time to say, I don't think that I can keep on doing what I was doing then. And I was looking for something else, a greater purpose to do. And that's when the light bulb went on, and I thought, you know what, I can do this. I can help people that have, that suffer from gastrointestinal issues. Because I thought, you know what, I guess what I'm going through right now is just leading me to my next goal in life. And so that's when I decided to go back to school and to become a registered holistic nutritionist. I studied for that, and then I decided that I'm going to specialize and help people that have gastrointestinal issues, because I can relate so much and I've been through so much. So, and it's funny because people will come in my office and say, well, you seem to be good now. Yes. And they kind of want to compare, right? They say, well, I don't think your condition was as bad as mine. I said, well, I don't want to compare. I don't want to compare notes, but I was really, really bad to a point where I wasn't able to work anymore. So I was pretty bad. I was pretty bad. Yeah.
When I tell people that when I actually counted how many times I'd have a bowel movement in a day, and I tell them it was 38 times a day.
Yeah.
They're like, holy cow. So that's even really people who are really acute, not being able to sleep because I was getting up 8 times a night. So there was no actual sleep. So yes, exhaustion for everything. So it's all bad. Yeah.
And the vicious cycle really sets in at that point, right? I mean, you don't sleep well, you don't eat well, nothing is good. I mean, you're completely, the train is completely derailed at that point. But there's a way to bring it back.
Right?
Absolutely.
So do you have a couple of steps that you did specifically, just without giving away the farm, just give us the first couple of steps that you did that started to turn your life around?
Well, the biggest step is really it's nutrition. I mean, I know it sounds a bit cliche because, we're talking about the book Saved by Nutrition, but of course that's what it is. That's the foundation to everything. And I keep on telling that also to everyone that come in my office, despite the problem that you have, you know what, if you're taking medication for your condition right now, do not discard nutrition. Nutrition is the foundation to it all. If you don't have nutrition in place, and I keep on saying that all the time, there's no amount of medication and or supplements that can counteract a bad nutrition, a bad diet.
Yeah.
So changing my nutrition was pivotal. It was what did it all. Absolutely. And just getting rid of things that really irritated, stressed my digestive tract, because we keep on talking about stress in relation to emotional stress, but physical and food related stress is also a thing that we have to, of course, make sure that we really highly consider in our health conditions. So
I love that you said food related stress, because my mind is going directly to when we eat inappropriately, it actually stresses the adrenal stimulants, that kind of thing, blood sugar dysregulation, which can actually lead even to more emotional stress. Is that what you meant by that, or is there something more?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I keep on telling people that, what, your body is your body. I mean, it's like your car, right? I mean, if you would ride your car 100 miles per hour all the time without doing ever any maintenance to it, I mean, how would your car ride, right?
Right.
And plus, if while you're running your car at 100 miles per hour, if you would fuel with the low grade fuel, and then once in a while you would actually dilute your fuel with water, or even throw some sand into your fuel, well, how well would your car ride?
When you put sugar in the gas tank,
when
what
you
happens to your car?
Exactly. And that's what we do, right? We believe that our body can take whatever, and we just go 100 miles per hour until eventually it breaks, and then we're thinking, oh my God, I've been dealt a bad hand of card. No, that's not really it. I mean, you're probably there were signs there before, and we all avoid them. We don't really pay attention to them, and eventually the body will tell you loud and clear what you need to hear. So
Exactly. Oh, that's so perfect. Absolutely.
yeah,
I agree. Nutrition is the foundation, and it's the thing that helped me as well. So I'm so super glad that you get to help people. So
yeah.
tell us a little bit more about what you do in your clinic then for your clients.
Well, you know what? That's what the way I've been brought it along, is essentially what I do with my clients. So essentially, I act as a coach. I basically help to identify some of the stressors in your life, and by stressors, food is, of course, in there, as we know. So we try to eliminate that, and also I just because when people come to me, and they're, when I see them, they remind me a lot of myself, 29 years ago, that I was in despair. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. Every little thing seemed like a big mountain to climb. So I basically coach them every step of the way. So I use the same approach as the way I've been coached. Every week it's a small little thing. Let's have a discussion, and let's figure out what that one little thing can be, and a little change that you can make, because every little change, as small as they may sound or seem, are going to make a difference in the end. So if that small change is to, well, this week let's work on eliminating all dairy from your meal plan or whatever, well, that's it. So let's do that. Let's take 7 days to do that. And
Yeah.
then next week we'll figure out what's the next big ticket item that we should tackle. And so that's what I do. Of course, I do use food. A healthy diet is at the foundation of everything that I do with my clients. Of course, I do use supplements to try to trigger some changes, get rid of some parasites or pathogens that might be in the gut, and to rebalance the gut. So probiotics, of course, are things that I use, of course, and all that. But it's really a matter of doing things in a systemic way that eventually you'll know will work. And I know that. I've been through it. And so clients don't know that, because often after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're saying, well, I'm not getting any results. I want to give up. Hang on, slow down. We just have to figure out what's the proper rhythm here that we need for you. Because if I ask you to climb that mountain in one shot, you're just going to say, I'm going to give up because the mountain is too steep. But if I just get you to take one step at a time, eventually we will get to the peak of the mountain. And my job that's what I keep on telling them. My job is to get you there.
Yeah.
It might take you a month, or it might take you 3 months or a year. I don't know. And I'm not the one that decides that.
Yeah.
But
Super
eventually,
important. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I found that when people want to start their workout weightlifting program and their goal is to lift 300 pounds, you don't immediately go to the gym and lift 300 pounds. You have to work your way to it.
yes, so
So,
true.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
super
exactly.
smart.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And of course, you know what? The compassion is a big thing too. So often, just the fact that they're talking to someone that understands them is half of
Yeah.
the battle. Because when you're struggling with your health, you always feel as if you're the only one on the earth that has that one problem, and that you're going through this. But that's not true. There's many people, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's just about finding the right help, and I guess, yeah, exactly. It's never giving up and making sure to keep on searching.
Right. And absolutely, since you've gone through it, you absolutely do understand what people are going through. And that
Yeah.
compassion is such a key component.
And
You know.
I've been told so many times by people, well, maybe you're just going to have to accept that this is your way of life now. This is it.
Right?
And I kept on telling them, I can't imagine that this is it. I mean, if this is the end point for me, I'm so depressed. I'm ready to just, that's it.
Right.
I don't want to continue. This is crazy. But I kept on believing that there was another way of doing, and that, we keep on hearing stories of people that, they've suffered their whole life, and then eventually they went to see this one person, and boom, thing happens.
Yeah.
Well, I just kept on believing that, and thinking, eventually I will meet someone that will understand my condition and will be able to help me along.
Beautiful.
And that eventually happened. I had to find him across the globe, but still I found him.
Yeah. And that's wonderful
Yeah.
because there is that person, there is that hope out there.
Yeah.
It's not just cut and dried, this versus that modality. Nutrition is a foundation. I love that you share that with
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
So do you have any words of advice that you'd love to give today in today's climate for people? Whatever that looks like, whatever that may be, what is it that you really want to share with people today?
I think the biggest one is really coming back to nutrition. Do not underestimate the power of nourishing your body properly. I mean, it's, as we've all heard, I mean, food is your medicine. Yes, it is. And eating crappy food all the time is not going to help, So, and also, make sure that you work with someone to help you along if you find that you're struggling, because I work with a lot of people that when they come to my office, they say, well, you know what, my diet is pretty good. I mean, I have a really good diet. And when we start digging into that diet, well, we find out that 20% of the time it's all right, it's okay, it's good. But 80% of the time it's pizza and McDonald's and other stuff. So you know what? Yeah, if a good nutrition has to be at least 80% of the time. You need to really eat according to what your body wants. Eat the right fuel for your body. You have to nourish the engine, the body. And 20% of the time, if you're having those odds, meals, and that's fine. Your body will recover from that. But 80% of the time, it's got to be right. And as much as everyone loves their pizza, and I love pizza, but pizza cannot be a 7-day thing,
It can't be. It's an exception, not the rule.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, I
So,
love that.
so that's really, keep on, I mean, the biggest message for everyone is to keep on searching for someone that to work with, because you know what, it's often not about like the next big medication or whatever that they'll come out with. It's really about finding the person that will understand you, and the person that has gone through it, I guess, in a way, because I mean, I've read a few books on how to become a millionaire and stuff like that, and in each of those books they always say the same thing: if you want to become a millionaire, don't read a book or don't hang out with people that want to become a millionaire. Hang out with people
millionaires
that are millionaires, that have done it. They've been there, so they know exactly all of the effort that is needed to get there. So I think it's the same thing for health. You know what? Just go find someone that has had the same issue or some issues similar to yours, and but has found a way to overcome it, and then see if you can work with those people and if they can help you out.
Absolutely. Smartest thing ever, too. And that's what we do as holistic nutritionists and nutritional consultants from across Canada, is we work way more in depth than anything else that people actually understand. And I love that you're so specialized in helping people. So I'm so grateful for you to come out and share your story today with us, Robert.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always relieving to put my story out there. To everyone that wants to hear it, because I'm just hoping that maybe I'll change the life of one person that is suffering today, which has ulcerative colitis and really thinks that they can't do it anymore, and they're sentenced to medication or to the way to what they're living in right now.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So again, this is Robert Martin. Now, where are you practicing out of? You're in Quebec?
Yes, I'm in Gatineau, Quebec. So yeah.
And you do take people online as well?
I do take people online. So yes, we are in COVID time. So actually right from the beginning of my practice, I was always set up to see people online. Although at the time not many people were requesting it. But now it's absolutely, I'm open for business, and everything can be done online. Much like the same way as when I worked with a person from the UK, as I said, we did Skype for a year, and there's nothing that prevented us from working together. And he brought me where I needed to go.
That's wonderful. I love that you had that fantastic influence and hope and meaning to move yourself forward. This is awesome. So if you do want to learn more about Robert or get in touch with Robert, you can email him at Robert, ROBERT, at the GastroPro, that's GASTROPRO.ca. So you'll definitely get it worth it. Like, there's no better feeling than great health.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
You've been watching the Health Now Nutrition Podcast with Michelle Post. For more information on how you can be part of the holistic and nutrition movement, visit www.healthnow.today to book your meeting.